Hi guys, today I'm going to show you a really cute polymer clay project. Recently I saw a lot of pictures that arrange flowers in the envelope, so I think this is a clever idea and I borrowed it and made a polymer clay version. I call it a love letter pendant. First, let's make the polymer clay envelope. Here I have a piece of brown polymer clay and a paper template. You can find the download link in the description box below. The polymer clay here has already went through the rolling machine. I think the rolling machine is essential for every polymer clay project. It will give your final product a much more professional look comparing to a rolling pin. After we got the envelope shape, we can tear off the paper template from the polymer clay. In the next step, we will need to cut another piece. That's the front of the envelope. Again, you can find the template in the description box. Clean the edges using a sharp knife, and then peel off the paper template. Then we can use a small blazer to indent the polymer clay to make it more look like an envelope. Remember, we were only going to indent the clay, not cutting through it. Okay, now we can attach this piece to the back of the envelope. You can see the front piece is a little bit wider than the back piece because we want to give this envelope a 3D effect. Now our envelope has completed. We need to embed an eye pin in the middle of the heart. Now it's ready to go into the oven. We only need to pre-bake it for about 15 minutes. While the envelope is baking, we can start making the polymer clay roses. Today I'm going to show you a really simple way to make roses. If you want to learn the realistic way to make the polymer clay roses, I have another tutorial here. Using a piping tip, cut out a lot of small circles from the red polymer clay. Again, this clay has went through the rolling machine first. Once we have all those circles, we can use a craft knife to divide them in half. Each piece will serve as one petal. Roll the pieces between your fingertips, then flatten it to make a small circle. You can see I wore a rubber glove on my right hand. It helps to eliminate the fingerprints on the polymer clay. Now let's first make the rose center. For the rose center, we need to use a little bit liquid polymer clay as adherence. So we can take a small piece of wire and then dip into the liquid polymer clay. Then adhere a piece of the polymer clay circle. Then wrap the polymer clay around the wire. until it forms a very tight roll. Then we can attach the petals to the rose center. Those petals are really tiny, and sometimes you can't even pick it up using a finger, so I generally using a stylus tool to pick it up. And we can arrange the flower petals as shown in the video. So now we can see a small rose has formed, and we can add another layer. So this layer has 2 petals, and the next layer will have 3 petals. When you are adding the outer layer, one thing you need to pay attention to is you need to make sure the petals actually adhere to each other. So especially for the bottom of the rose, you need to use force to attach the polymer clay. Otherwise, when you bake them, the petals might fall off. See how cute this small rose is. And now we just need to shape it a little bit. And our rose is complete. Here comes my favorite part. Arrange the flowers to the baked envelope. Still, first we need to add a little bit liquid polymer clay onto the surface of the envelope, and then using a toothpick to spread the liquid. Here are the roses we made. Now take one rose and use a craft knife to cut the bottom of the rose, so it has a flat bottom, and remove it from the wire. Remember, at this time, this polymer clay rose is unbaked. We need to use the unbaked polymer clay rose so its petal is still flexible. Now use the needle tool, we can move this rose to the envelope. Then we can continue adding more roses and adjust their position. Now the surface is almost full, with a little bit empty spaces in the corner. We need to fill in those empty corners with smaller roses. Those small roses only has 2 layers of petals. Now add one last small rose, and we've formed a perfect heart shape. This can go into the oven for 30 minutes for the final bake. After baking, our pendant is complete. If you like this tutorial, please check out my other polymer clay tutorials on YouTube. And I also have a website, Crystals and Clay, that has a lot of jewelry DIY tutorials, including wire wrapping and beading and polymer clay. So just check them out, and see you next time.